according to the official stats, we are not in a recession. However, we have some unofficial data that signals that we might actually be headed towards one if we are not already in one, and they could tell us a lot about what we should be doing now with our money, where the stock market could be going, and more importantly, what you might want to consider doing with your money right now. So what are those stats and what do they mean? Let's go ahead and break it down. So there are two categories of these statistics. One is one I just came across by myself. We'll start off with that one. And then a few that the Washington Post came across. And that's where we're going to spend the majority of our time. The first one I came across last week, I did a short here on YouTube and also on Instagram. You check out the short here. But it's just the rise in meme stocks. Meme stocks are apparently back. There were a few meme stocks that took off. I think one was up like 96% in a single day. Obviously, the stock wasn't doing well, right? And again, it was a handful of them. And when was the last time meme stocks did well, right? It was a pandemic. People were struggling. People had extra money on their hands. Now, this time around, people don't necessarily have extra money on their hands, but you've got people furloughed. You've got people, not being able to find a job for an extended period of time. And people are desperate right now. There are a lot of people trying to make a lot of money very quickly, and meme stocks happen to be that way. And if there is something where you can make 96% on your money and do so in a day, there are a lot of people who took up on the opportunity. Now, obviously, there are some risks. We can go into a whole meme stock video or analysis on another day, but that is one indicator for me. But that's just my observation, right? That's my personal indicator. However, here are some more data-driven things that you absolutely want to pay attention to. The first one is this: cardboard production is down 5%. Why is that important? That already signals that people might be purchasing things less. And remember that 2/3 of our economy here in the United States is based on consumer purchases, right? People buying stuff, us buying stuff. And for example, think of the things that you buy from Walmart online, or anything that you almost buy online, especially from Amazon, comes in a cardboard box. Not everything, but most things. And if the producers of cardboard are saying, hey, look, we're not producing as much as we used to, and we are moving closer to the holiday season, that might mean something. People could be buying less, and this is the biggest part of the season, the beginning part of the season, but the beginning part of their most revenue season, right? The biggest part of their revenue year, right, of their season might not be what we expect it to be, and that might be a major problem. Also, if you are considering buying some of those types of stocks, if you say, hey, look, it's about to be the holiday season, I'm gonna get Amazon, I might try and get a Target or a Walmart. That's not me endorsing those stocks per se, but if you get those and you're planning on holding those for the next few months, remember, earnings season, when they say how well we did in the fourth quarter of 2025, they're going to announce those usually in the top part of 2026. If those results aren't good, you are going to pay for that in terms of a loss, perhaps, in that part of the year. Okay, now, I'm not predicting what those losses are going to be. I don't know if those are going to be losses at all. Okay, I'm just saying that if things aren't good based on this production, know now that that is a risk that you are taking if, keyword if, people don't spend what they expect to. And notice, with all of these pains out there, and we're going to continue to go on with some of these stats. So that's number one. Cardboard production, not what it used to be, down just 5%. This one is one I've heard of before, but also interesting. Hamburger Helper, up 14.5%. Hamburger Helper is back up. For decades, people have turned to the packaged pasta and seasoning meals when times are tight. Hey, I turn to when times are tight and when it ain't. Okay, maybe I said something about me and my upbringing. I would tear up a bowl of Hamburger Helper right now if offered. Okay, the stroganoff is top 3 for me. Okay, I don't care. Now the interesting thing here for me is that beef is still very high, and I believe spiked maybe about 15%. And the president's trying to import beef from Argentina. We can cover that story at a later time. But in either case, this is not the first time that it popped up, and they are correct. People do start to turn to Hamburger Helper, except for its loyal ones, anytime that the economy does start to get tight. So that is something to absolutely pay attention to. And then things start to get a bit more interesting here. And this does tie to boxes. So for example, 14.5%, this is down. So big trucks, semi trucks specifically, the sales of those are down 14.6%. This does signal that manufacturing could be down. Why is that the case? Well, people, these large companies usually buy trucks and replace trucks because they are continually shipping more things and moving stuff across the country, putting a lot of wear and tear on those trucks. And if the sales of those trucks are down almost 15%, and I know that cardboard production is down just 5%, that tells me that, hey, manufacturing might be down. And this goes back to the point that I made last week, or perhaps it was 2 weeks ago now, where AI production, or the gloss of AI, or the attention on AI is masking other parts of the economy. And that is something that I do think we absolutely need to pay attention to. It's masking other parts of the stock market too. What we are spending and how we are spending our money and how people are struggling to find jobs and all that kind of stuff, we're not paying attention to that because Microsoft is at an all-time high, because Nvidia is doing all this stuff, and OpenAI is doing all this stuff. That's where everybody is focused on, whereas the normal stuff, we would normally be focusing on, hey, are people spending for Black Friday when it comes up? Are people spending on Halloween candy and all that stuff? We'll see if that's going to be the case later this week. That is usually what people pay most attention to, and now it's not, and that is a major concern. And if you want to learn more about how the economy is kind of changing and what that means for all of us, you definitely want to check out this video right here. I did a pretty deep dive analysis on how that really speaks to what is going on and how people are feeling right now. The next stat that we're going to talk about is the one that makes me feel the most right, and I don't make the stats, I just report them here, and you're going to see why you should absolutely hit the subscribe button. That's because thrifting is up 39.5%. And this is why, especially early in the year, I had been telling y'all about eBay as being one of the better stocks. Raise your hand and know and tell people how I've been yelling about how good of a stock eBay was going to be and why I thought that. Because I said tariffs were coming up, people were going to look for deals. That is why I said eBay was going to be the case, and now we know. And now we know. Thrifting is apparently, according to the Washington Post, a signal of a recession. They say that their shopping has boomed this year, fueled by shoppers seeking budget deals. The trend points to anxiety hanging over consumers as economic outlook remains unclear. I wonder who said this back in January, February, or March. At any point during that time, I know things. I know things, and when I know things, I tell y'all, this is why you subscribe. You would know these things too if you subscribed, or if you were on my email newsletter. You too would know these things and have the opportunity to work with your boy and all that type of stuff and learn this information. I'm just saying, a lot of this stuff is free because I be telling y'all right now, like I am right now, for free. Okay, next here is job hopping. Job hopping is down 63%. This is something we've talked about on the channel before. Again, another reason as to why you should subscribe. And that is the number of job openings in the country is stubbornly low, if I pronounce that correctly. Y'all get the point here. But I've said this before, back in 2021, especially, I would say 2021. But even before that, there was a strategy, really in the 2010s, right after I kind of graduated college, where you hopped jobs like every 2 years or so. You could really level up your strategy. There were personal finance books that really preached this. I almost preached this, where it was like, hey, if you stayed in a job for 3, 4, 5 years, you actually got paid less. If you wanted to move up to a 6-figure level, especially if you were, again, fresh out of college, you need to hop jobs. Do not be loyal was the phrase. Yeah, that's not the case anymore. Their job hugging is a thing now because the market is so rough, and that is something that is new to a lot of people, especially of my generation, especially in Gen Z, and that is a true recession indicator. And now you have ghosting, where employers will start an interview and then leave you out on the street, and that is something, at least to me, that is new, that I'm seeing in the market and have experienced rather myself in some degrees, and that's not something that I didn't think was normal, but apparently it's becoming more normal. So we'll see where that goes as well. So those are the main stats. So now, what should you consider doing? One of these is going to be more repetitive. The other one we talk about, but not in the context of a potential recession. I've said this many times, so I apologize for being repetitive. I have been saying this, and I continue to say as such. I think that 3 to 6 months is a little outdated given what we are going through and given the tariff situation. I am thinking 12 to 18 might make more sense, especially given the job situation. It is taking people much longer to find a job. The market is shifting and changing way more than what most people are used to, and I don't think 3 months is near enough anymore. I'm starting to think 6 months might be the bare minimum. So 12 to 18 is going to buy you a lot more security in cash. So that's the first one. I'm not saying that it's easy to do. I'm not saying you can do it overnight. So that's number one. Number two, I do think you should continue investing. That's how you're going to outpace inflation. New report just came out, I think just a few days ago, where inflation is back up to the highest level that we have seen since January of this year. Now, it is just 3%, which, it's not crazy. It's not the 9% that we have seen just a few years ago, but it's creeping back up. It is creeping back up. We are still very early in this new tariff. Like, we're not even a year into tariffs, and tariffs can still rise. Interest rates can still be cut, which can drive up tariffs even more, and we can still run into stagnation, which is something, or stagflation rather, which is something I've been warning you out again since like March. Okay, so these are still risk, but if we are going to go there and the market may still rise, which we hope it does, you still want to beat inflation, right? And the way that you can do that is still by investing. Now, what you invest in, how you invest, those are options, right? And you want to know what some of those options are and what some of the best stocks may be to start your research, you want to check out these videos right here.